Welcome back. Now, of course, Lotus Cup Europe wouldn't be right without drivers joining us from all over Europe. And this weekend, Arturo Mazzano and Stefano Dust join us from Lotus Cup Italy, who last year invited us to race with them at Imola. And this year, they'll join us not only here this weekend, but of course also in Spa. Arturo, you've raced in many different championships over the years, including Formula One.
J'ai fait le début.
I started 25 years ago driving Ferraris. I've been driving Formula Ones for 10 years with various people like Williams, Ferrari, March, and so on. Unfortunately, I never drove for Lotus. It's now a long time away, and I'm not as young as in the past, but I'm still enjoying driving these cars. I'm driving Lotus now because Lotus cars, these are GT cars, they are very safe and are very efficient. In the past I didn't want to drive for Lotus, also I could probably have done it. The reason being that the Lotus Formula One cars were not as safe. So I prefer to avoid it, but I'm catching up now and driving Lotus GT cars.
Stefano, you organise Lotus Cup Italy and you're here racing this weekend. How are you enjoying yourself?
I'm very happy to do the race here at Magny-Cours, and it's the first race that we do all together with the Lotus Cup Europe. We already did 2 Lotus Cup races in Italy, and I'm happy. There are a lot of cars and the paddock is nice. The big difference that there is between the Lotus Cup Italy and the Lotus Cup Europe is that in Lotus Cup Europe there are many different cars with many different performance. We have 2 types of cars, 211 and the Exige, and we have a kit that can apply the 211 and the kit for the Exige. So the performance are very similar between the cars.
There are many Lotus dealers who support the drivers in this series, and I'm here now with Luke, who's manager of Boursier Competition. Hi Luke, this is your first year with Lotus Cup Europe and you've raced in many other championships including Formula 3. How has this relationship come about?
I was doing Lotus already, and we specialize into tuning and modifying cars, Lotus cars in France. So we felt for the customer service we had to go racing, both for our image and to show our knowledge.
Christophe is one of 7 drivers run by Team Boursier. Let's meet him now. Christophe, you're always one of the front runners. How do you do it?
I try to follow my British friends, but it's very complicated because they know most trucks and are very skilled drivers. Together with Luc, we try to improve on the car, we try to improve on the driving, and we hope one day to end up in the front.
Well, the cars are heading out now onto track to take their grid for race 2. It's a 30-minute race from a rolling start, and the heat is absolutely sweltering. So it's going to be quite a challenge for them out there. Here's your commentator.
Certainly will, Gemma. A wonderful field of Lotus Cup Europe cars making their way round behind the pace car. It's Romain Rotrou who takes pole position once more with Christophe Legendre alongside. Andreas Hulsleithner is 3rd with Philippe Loup in 4th position. Big field with Gregory Rass starting 11th. He'll be looking to avoid a first lap incident this time around, and Thierry Verheist as well often improves over the course of the race. Dennis van den Sarvel starts 22nd. He had a great first race of the weekend, as did Gavin Kirby, who starts in 23rd place, leading the production class runners on to the rear of the field. Well, John Rass made his way up the pack in race 1. Will he do the same this time around? Cars forming up side by side as David Harvey pulls off again on the formation lap, sadly, as away they go. And well, Routreau has pulled the pin very early here because they should be going Noah's Ark style 2 by 2 across the line, but Routreau has gone, and across the line they go to start the race in single file. So Romain Routreau leading the way. Christophe Legendre has gone with him in 2nd place. The pair of them running much as they were in race 1. Everybody else streaming through, but already the field beginning to string itself out just a little bit. There's some dust being kicked up as they power into the estrial curve, the long right-hander for the first time in this 30-minute race. There is Olivier Cunat, and would you believe it, he is busy battling away with Stefano Daste once more. Battle is rejoined as ahead of the field. Routreau is pulling away from Christophe Christophe Lisandre, and then Andres Holzleithner as Cunha looks to the inside of Stefano D'Aste. We go in car with Stefano D'Aste. Now, will we see the bright yellow machine, Olivier Cunha, appearing to the right of the screen? Oh yes, we do. Through goes Olivier Cunha. D'Aste is pushed wide. He tries to hold the line, but no way through there, as he just about scrabbles across the curb, so he loses out in battle for Exige honours. And good afternoon to Marc Goudet, as Marc Goudet picks his way through as well. So the three cars who really enlivened the first race are now once more running absolutely together, and they've got Gregory Rass and Thierry Verheist on their tail as well. So those five battling position as Tom Chataway in the 211 picks his way through. Marc Goudet looks to the inside of Olivier Cunha as they go through the 180 hairpin, kicking up the grass. We watch it from Stefano D'Aste's point of view. D'Aste then tries to visit the gravel at Imler. He just about scrabbles through. We've got a great view here of Marc Goudet right on the tail of Olivier Cunha as they make their way up towards Chateau d'Eau at the head of the field. Andreas Holzleithner in third position has got Philippe Loup and Steve Williams in his tail. Williams looking to the inside of Loup as they go into Chateau d'Eau. Not a lot of room there. Has Williams made the move stick? We look backwards from Williams as Scott Cruikshank also tries to pick his way past Philippe Loup. Williams has made that move stick. We'll see when they arrive at Lycée as he goes for a late move, and Steve Williams is going to go through into fourth position as they go into Lycée to complete that one. So Williams goes fourth. Philippe Loup contests the issue around the outside. They're bottled up as well behind the Austrian Andreas Holzleithner. So the four of them running very closely as Marc Goudet loses it, and Goudet goes into the wall and retires from the race. The 211 rotates into the tyre barrier. Well, we can see Marc Goudet moving in the car. The car fortunately well off the racing line, so hopefully he won't be too much in the path of the oncoming traffic. Everybody else streaming on to the second lap of the race as we watch Franco Bobbiese going through in towards Estoril at the head of the field. Romain Rotereau has got Christophe Lisandre right on his tail as Goudet clambers over the tyre barrier through the pit wall partition. Good to see he's okay. Unfortunately, his machine a little bit less so. Well, with all of the action, Philippe Loup has now made his way up into third position. Andreas Holzleithner in fourth. He makes contact with Scott Cruikshank. He turned across to cover the line, and now Cruikshank has got Olivier Cunha alongside him. Also in the mix is Steve Williams, and is Cunha going to pick his way past Williams? No, he's not, but he is going to make his way past Andreas Holzleithner. So brilliant dicing here from Lotus Cup Europe as Williams and Cruikshank make their way on towards the hairpin, midpoint of the lap. Cruikshank looking to the inside of Steve Williams. No way through there as they set off in pursuit of Philippe Loup. And yes, Scott Cruikshank pushing as hard as he can as we've got Gemma in the pit lane with Marc Goudet.
Marc, what happened?
I got carried away. Second gear out of the bend and I just floored it a tiny bit too much. Lost control, which I haven't done very often in my life, but that was a bad one. Got a bit excited. I caught Scotty and Steve and I was thinking, right, I can have this. I blew it. Idiot.
Well, idiot or not, I think he was just racing. It's brought out the safety car, as so the field all bunch up behind the pace car. So the advantage that the Boursier competition men had gained at the head of the field has really whittled down to nothing. It does give us the opportunity to admire this enormous Lotus Cup Europe field in all its splendour as they make their way around the former home of the French Grand Prix. The first race here held back in 1991 and never present on the calendar until just a couple of seasons ago. As the heat shimmers off these machines, it's a boiling day here in Nevers in the middle of France. Long trip over for many of the drivers, but the circuit and the paddock camaraderie more than makes up for the journey as James Knight and Gavin Kirby, leading the production class, make their way through towards the rear of this field. As the pace car's pulled in, we're about to go green once more. Across the line goes Romain Rauchereau as we've got a string of 5 Lotus 211s at head of the field. Christophe Lisandre, however, has got the run on Rauchereau and goes through into the lead of the race. Christophe Lisandre moves past his teammate and moves into the lead. Very nicely done from Lisandre. Now, can he hold the line through Estoril? This corner is absolutely key in setting up the run to the Adelaide hairpin, which is where we've seen so much of the action this weekend. Olivier Cunha in the pugilistic Exige right on the tail of Scott Cruikshank. Cunha having a great weekend, and he's really in the hunt overall for honours here. Steve Williams now on the tail of Philippe Loup. Loup has to defend hard and early because Williams now jinks to the inside of Philippe Loup. Williams putting himself up the inside, not sure that Loup's really going to be able to defend. No, he's not, as Cunha goes to the inside of Scott Cruikshank, who closes the door very, very late indeed. Across the curbs goes Cruikshank, and I think Olivier Cunha for the moment may have just decided to sit back and watch how things proceed up ahead of Christophe Lisandre. He's being chased down by Romain Rauchereau. Philippe Loop driving very well this weekend, although he has lost out to Steve Williams. Williams really gave Loop absolutely no opportunity to defend, but we've got the 5 leading cars as close as you like as they make their way through the hairpin, as they then accelerate on towards Chateau d'Eau, which is a potential overtaking opportunity. The very slow right-hander. As Rauchereau, well, he's conceded the advantage to Christophe Lisandre, but he's now right in his tail once more. They go through the end of the chicane and then up into Chateau d'Eau. Any way through there for Rauchereau? No, there's not, so he just follows in behind him with Steve Williams, Philippe Loop and Scott Cruikshank all in very close attendance. We have then got Olivier Cunin and Stefano D'Aste with Gregory Rast chasing down Andreas Holzleifner. Simon Deacon has got the number 6 car, Matteo Castiglione, right in his tail, and Castiglione goes through Estoril. Brilliant move from the Italian. There wasn't really a lot of room there, but through he goes, and that enables him to build a little bit of an advantage over his Lotus Cup Italy rival Fortina, who is there in the white car at the rear of the shot. So Castiglione, who unfortunately explored the limits of the gravel track in race 1, is going very well in pursuit now of Tom Chatway in race 2. Beautifully presented sky blue and white exige makes its way through the Adelaide hairpin. He's got the all-black machine of Sam Deacon on his tail, as we get word from race control that Romain Rauchereau has got a penalty, drive-through penalty for a jump start, and well, we thought he went a little bit early. The clerk of the course has concurred, so Romain Rauchereau has had to pit in. Here he is now. Now let's see where he has rejoined the fray. At the moment he's running more or less alone. He's just ahead of Olivier Cunin. Well, here is the race leader, Christophe Lisandre. So Lisandre is in the lead, as he was, and then we've got Philippe Loop, Steve Williams, Scott Cruikshank in the red car, and there is Romain Rauchereau in 5th position. So Rauchereau has lost out, he's dropped back to 5th place. He's also lost a lot of track space as well. So we've got the leading quartet, who would now be well advised possibly not to race too much amongst themselves and do what they can to pull away from Romain Rauchereau. Rauchereau, lights ablaze, is doing what he can to reel in Scott Cruikshank as we follow Cruikshank through the Nürburgring chicane on to the 180-degree hairpin, beautifully turned out red Lotus 211, and Cruikshank having a good 2010 thus far. You can see the gravel scattered across the circuit as various cars at this absolutely packed race weekend here at Magny-Cours have explored the circuit limits a little bit more. Well, this is now beginning to look very good for Christophe Lisandre, because Lisandre isn't really under immediate pressure from Philippe Loop, and Loop in turn is dropping back because he's got Steve Williams to worry about. As I say that, Lisandre runs wide going through Chateau d'Eau, so Christophe Lisandre has got Philippe Loop with renewed vigour right in his tail. Great battle this as they make their way down towards Lycée. We are leaving Magny-Cours for a short break. We'll be back in just a couple of moments' time for the conclusion of the race.